Hello, welcome everyone to this webinar. So we will start in few seconds. All right. Welcome again, everyone. Thanks for joining here. And we are going to discuss about UIUX development with Nintex Automation K2 here. So with respect to designing the front end, particularly web applications, the focus was shifted from just a good user interface to a great user experience. We all are aware of that because user experience focuses on how a product works and how the user feels while interacting with it. Whereas the user interface just focuses on visual look and interactive elements of the product. User experience design is the process of making products easy, efficient, and enjoyable to use. It focuses on how things work rather than how they look. The goal of UX is to solve user problems and reduce frustration from the user side. It involves user research, testing, wireframing, and refining it. For example, in a real world scenario, you can say in a restaurant, you can assume user interface is just the places and table settings, but whereas the user experience is the wonderful service, the clear menu, food menu, and how fast your food arrives. So that you can imagine as a user experience rather than just the table and other settings in a hotel. Okay, so yeah, I'll move on to the next slide, Shivendra. Thanks for that. So today, we the speakers are from Pro Inception. Speaking with you currently is Abdul Talib, working as a Chief Technology Officer and passionate in architecting solutions using low-code platform with AI and other line of business integrations. And I have Shivendra Sharma with me, who is an UI UX specialist, particularly in the low-code platform. He will talk about UI UX in detail and share a demo on how to apply that in a K2 web application. Okay, move on, Shivendra. Okay, so what we will be going through is designing a web application using K2 and how we can best fit the UI UX guidelines and what K2 offers plus what we can customize. So we will be going through them, and Shivendra will be sharing with us best practices as well in between. Okay, so yeah, let's move on, Shivendra, to the next slide. Okay, so we have come up with a timeline. We will try to follow this timeline in each stage of this webinar to keep it under control when it comes to the time. Okay, move on, Shivendra, to the next one. All right. So here, when it comes to user experience, so it should be very clear. So the layout should not be confusing the user, and the better design will definitely get us the next project. Okay, so that's it. I will pass on this to Shivendra, who will be helping us to understand more in detail about how a UI UX design can be done better with K2. So for example, if you look at this slide, the left side, it's a regular classic K2 view that we design. Usually at the right side, you can see after a UI UX is applied, how this looks. Okay, for example, the left side, you can see we have the same size control, but that is not correct when it comes to asking for age. So that's going to be just a 2-digit. We don't have this much big text box. So it has to be context sensitive, and we have to make sure the user experience is really great. So I'll hand over this one to Shivendra to help us understand how to design a good UI in K2 using UI UX based design. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So Shivendra, you can
Yeah, thank you, Abdul.
take over. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Abdul. Thank you for uh, for this opportunity to speak. So let's look what happens when we drop a view into a form, like versus when we take time to design any particular form on it. So in this slide itself, on the left, if you see the default layout where every field has the exact same size and everything, and on the right, we can see that exactly same smart objects and all those things, but we have like grouped them, we have all those things. So we will see these things also in this demo itself. So what this layout pattern, what that K2 follows is like, whenever we are designing any form or anything, what we'll do, we'll try to build a form or a view, all contain all those things into a tabular format, into a table layout deliberately. We will group all the controls which are in a particular, which are used for a particular control. So let's say we are building a form where we are gathering different data. So a particular data field, we can keep all the things which are required for a particular set of data collection into one group. Let's say for an personal detail, contact details, what we can do, we can create a personal detail group and incorporate all the different uh, inputs, all the different text box, all the different things into a particular room. Which what happens? This enhances our user experience. Like a user, whenever it looks at the form, he don't have to be confused like what I need to fill and what has to be there in this particular field. So he, by reading that the headline itself, he'll get an idea. Yes, this section talks about this particular thing. So this what the K2 styling ladder actually looks like. So we have like 4 approaches from which we can style our particular forms and controls. So first we have the style builder, which is at the very basic level, or which is at the very designer level, wherein the designer itself you can add the style contents to a particular font or like particular whatever the control you have selected, you can design its padding, margin, background color, and all those things can be defined then and there in the designer itself. But now the main question arises: why, if there are like hundreds of controls, if there are more than 10 controls or 20 controls, and the same way goes for the different forms as well. So are you going to sit and write and design all the controls by yourself? No, right? It will again be a time consuming and it will cost a lot more efforts as well. So that's where the style profiles come along, where we can design a particular styles in our, we can include style profiles in our forms, and in that style profile itself, we can define all the things for a particular control. Let's say we can group all the inputs, how my all inputs would look like, how my buttons would be styled, how the particular different HTML elements, how will they be looking, that can be defined into this particular style profiles. After the style profiles, we also have the custom themes also. Themes are which are already provided by K2 also, we can see in our K2 server. So in order to create our own custom theme, what we have to do is we have to take one already existing theme profile. We have to save it into the server again with some another name, obviously. And we need to register it in the K2 smart objects, in the K2 smart object table, and then we need to reset the IIS for that theme to be shown in the form where we have the option to select the theme itself. And the last part is the CSS and JavaScript. CSS is common, but the JavaScript part is like if we want to target a particular data field or a particular uh, point where some actions has to be taken, that can be done by either by injecting the script in the expression via data labels and all this thing. So the main point is like this is the style builder as I talked about. So how you can do those changes? Really, you want a quick targeted approach, then you can select a control. You can access to its general properties, which is towards the right side, which will be shown in the demo. You can open the style builder using the Eclipse and you can apply the static formatting like borders, font colors, and all those. What is the main thing is here is it gives you the immediate impact. So whatever the changes is, you can see it directly inside the form itself. So, sorry. So as I already said, we will not keep on building all the styles and everything for like more than 50 controls or every control. For that, we have is a style profile. So how do we do a style profile for like centralized branding and all those things? We can create a profile. We can define our brand language, like what are my fonts? Are there any font sizes or font details? Like every brand, every company wants that, yes, this is my particular thing. This is how my whole website should look like across all the tabs and across all the pages and everything. So we can define those things into the style profile. And what we can do is we can uh, im import those style profiles into a form so that all these changes and everything are applied. And main thing is like we can deploy it into some another uh, environments as well. So if we created an style profile, we can create its package and we can deploy it to other environments seamlessly. It won't affect the functionality or CSS type of all the fonts and everything. It remains same across. Now, as discussed earlier about this custom themes, like from end to end, it's like same, like we can create the same already existing, pre-existing themes which are provided by K2 into a particular we can copy them, we can store it into the less files and store in the K2 server. We can edit those according to our changes and everything. And then we need to register into the database. So we have to insert into the theme rows with the particular GUID and everything. We can test it and then and from run on onwards, we can try it. But since these themes are like not included in whenever we are going to deploy it from one server to another server, like from UAT to from like test to UAT, UAT to production. These themes are not the things which are getting involved into the uh, K2 package, deployment package. So now in this adds a extra step while we are comparing to a style profiles. This adds like we need to be make sure that all the styles which are we created, those are pre deployed to our particular server where we are going to deploy a particular project or something. So now this is the CSS and JavaScript part. So as I already told you, like uh, JavaScript and CSS, these are like uh, this is like a level 4, like in the last 5%. Like we inject this through scope, like data labels, and to target a specific control that the other level can't reach. So sorry, yeah. So how this thing works is like we can create a script. We can generally whenever you are designing any form or anything, it is always advised to give them a proper name. So whenever you are trying to get something to using the JavaScript, you want to inject anything, you want to change anything or something. So using that namespace, it will be very easy for you to do these things. Now, it is always suggested that if you are trying to do any JavaScript code or any inject any CSS or JavaScript or something, you should first go to the browser, use the developer tools. There you can make changes and see whether if my whether if I include these changes or everything, whether it will be working correctly or not. Okay, so this is what the main CSS and JavaScripts are. So what our main focus while we are developing a UI and UX for a particular form and everything should be like our form should be a responsive design. It should be accessible at all the stages and everywhere, and it should be fast to load. So like we should use the properties of CSS like which we can use for getting or applying these styles very fastly, like nth filter, and we have the transform, we can box shadows and all those things. We these our properties should not keep the form awaiting. So this should be our main target should be. So the move on to this demo. So we have already curated this a particular system wherein I will show you how what are the changes that happens when a particular style profile is used and how our particular branding and all those things are doing, and when a default what a default Q2 form might look like and what a normal after applying the style profile looks like. So do let me know once my screen is visible to you. Is it visible, Abdul?
I still see the PPT. Yeah, go ahead and show the POC. Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Yep, I can see the application. Thank you.
Okay. So as in this CPC, it's a normal employee management system wherein we have like this is the default a normal item view and header view and all those things. We have the different tabs as well, where this is what a normal basic forms looks like. Whenever we just dropped in our view and everything into a particular form without any styling applied or anything. So let's say I'll add here my name. Here we can see. And one more thing, like whenever you're designing and everything, you should also make sure that these fields are tab indexed correctly. So if I go from like here, if I press like mouse cursor should not be like required for me to navigate and everything. So if I click on this keyboard only, tab, 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 it should redirect me to the particular field in a particular flow itself. So it also enhances our user experience in a way actually. So if I add it here now, let's say I add it here. So this will happen. And now I need to put the address line. So again, if I go to the next thing, I'll see. Also, you can see the buttons are also not aligned and all. Even if you do the back also, you see the buttons are quite not aligned very well, right? So now I also enter the menu type. Yes. Hmm, department as so this. So what happens? So when I click on this, so this is the basic view. Functionality wise, if you see, there is a no issue. If you observe, functionality is working fine, everything is working fine. But would you say this is a very professional way? No, it's not very professional looking or a good looking UI when we compare to anything. But now if I click on this onboard, thanks. Yes, and now my this that is it's been created. Now, if I go to this and if I refresh, so my approval has been sent and the employee has been created already. So now, before moving to how the style profiles and all those things are, I'll show you the what we were talking when we were talking about the style builders, what we were exactly talking about. So So let's say this is my field, this is my data label. So whenever you go here, you can see this, the style is there, this format is there. And when you click on this Eclipse, Here you can design all those things. You can type as format, you can type as for borders, margins, padding, background. So these are the style builders which we talked about. Now, what a style profile can do to a particular uh, page, I'll show you here. So I have just now enabled my style profile here. So once it loads, I'll show you. So this is what a particular style profile could do to a particular to a page which was very normal looking to a page which is now looks uh, good looking as well as a presentable also. So if I go to this onboard, this also looks fine. Here, if you see the buttons are also there, and if I try to enter without entering, it will highlight it. It will say these things are required and all those. Again, if I try to do same things, and now if I click on next, see, now this also looks very pretty fine. Earlier it was like something else. Here we have the particular namespace here. Yes, you have this thing totally, you can add it. And when I click on next, this thing also looks fine. Uh, so this is the basic idea. So we got the gist like how this whole thing is working. Again, this is our dashboard view where we can see all the onboarded employees and all what is the total number of employees, what is the total sent for approval, how many are still in pending, what this is something of a different view, like what all things, how many leaves are taken, how many balances are taken, that well-being, all those things are there. So the basic overview of this whole full demo was to showcase that yes, what a particular UI and can make a individuals make feel like how this my form looks like. So when you compare this form with the out any style profile or CSS applied, it looks pretty very basic. Functionality wise was like it's like this way, and you can clearly see the difference when you apply it and you save it. Now I'll show you how to like from where are we going, where can we design this style profile and everything. So when you create a category, you have an option to create a style profile. So when you click on this style profile, you will be redirected to a page where it will be asked you for a style profile designer. Herein you can give your name like employee style profile. And this is the main accent color, like already suggests you that the hyperlink, highlights and main buttons, what all things are there, how they will look into it. So you can define the color here as well, like whatever the color which you want. Let's say we are selecting for a cyan color. And this is the content background color. You can set this also, and you can set the panel color also. Now, how can we design all the things is like when you need to go to this developer tab. Here, a basic layout like whatever HTML elements are there, those will be shown here from your heading 1 till heading 4, how your input labels would look like, how a particular paragraph would look like, how a drop down, how will our normal text box and text area like in disable mode and all those things will look like, how a particular checkbox would look, and what the different buttons would look like in different actions. So we have actions also in our buttons. So if it is a normal action, then it will be like this. If it is a main action button, enabled and disabled this way, quiet and destructive are also there. So these things already gets mapped to when you are in so developer mode. Here, what is the added advantage is there that we can link our external CSS files, whatever we have developed. So let's say I have developed a file and I want to put it in here. We can click on this link external file, and whatever the link that you will put in, it will fetch that file from that particular server. Just make sure that the file is at a place where it is hosted, not just put at a SharePoint or somewhere you will put and you expect it to be shown here. It would be not like that. Right? You need to put it on the server at some place, and then from there you can fetch it, and it will be shown you to the by runtime. So this was the total overview for this demo. Moving on to the other slide, I will hand it over to Abdul. Abdul, keep going.
Okay, thank you, Shivendra, for the wonderful demo. Okay, so here we have listed some of the checklist items we better consider when designing or before concluding a project. For example, when it comes to structuring a web layout, we should consider grouping them into sections instead of keeping them everything in a single view. It's better we design that in different sections, and then better we always have two columns, okay, not multiple columns that will distract the users. And when it comes to clarity, for example, you have to mark the mandatory fields very clearly so that the user would fill in advance instead of clicking a button and seeing what needs to be filled, which is mandatory. Okay. And then when it comes to scalability, you have to make sure that you test it with other devices, for example, tablets and mobile devices. Okay. Yeah, move on, Surendra. Okay. So Pro Inception has helped many clients in designing high quality applications with outstanding layouts for new applications as well, and also the existing applications. So to help clients on their existing applications, we generally take top 3 high traffic applications, then we redesign the layouts, deliver them the branded style profiles, LESs, CSS, and documentation files for further maintenance. So if you would like to try our service, you just need to do two things. You have to share only 2 items to us, a screenshot of the form which you want to redesign, okay, and your brand palette. So the coloring of your branding. So we will be redesigning that particular form without any cost and send back to you. And then based on that, you can actually hand over the full application if you'd like to. Okay, so great. So you've been excellent audiences. You're staying until the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for that. So please make note of the contact you see here in the screen, and please contact us for any technical support. Okay, so we are going to open question and answer section here. So please feel free to ask any question in the comment. So we'll try to answer as much as possible. So let's see if any questions already come. Okay, we will give 1 minute to see if there is a question. We'll try to answer. Okay, if not, please contact us. We will try to help you further. And yeah, it's a great evening. Thank you everyone for joining here. We will definitely meet again in another webinar. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.